All right, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. It's me, HeyArcher. Very special episode with a very special guest today. This is HeyArcher episode 182. Again, if you're new here, welcome. Like, comment, subscribe, of course. But also, you're going to want to do all the same to my guest, to his channel. We have Aaron here on the show. He's a longtime listener, and I'm a fan of his. We are mutual fans of each other's work. And you may have heard him on the Titans Talk episode that we did. We did a part 1 here on this channel for HeyArcher, part 2 on his channel. If you haven't checked it out, of course, go over there. But Aaron Waller, welcome to HeyArcher. How you doing today?
Thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure. I would love to say a long-time listener, more of a binge listener, going back through your archives of older HeyArchers and videos, but also keeping up with the new stuff. So it's an honor to be on HeyArcher 182.
Yeah, no, and it's funny. We talked about it on the Titans one, but we kind of like found each other through Instagram. We were both reviewing Titans at the same time.
Yep.
Kind of went down a wormhole of Titans together, along with a lot of other people.
Yep.
And of course, we were commenting how some people actually like the show. So I'm still waiting to meet some of these people. Unless have you met any of them yet?
No, not a single person. It's actually kind of hard to find people that like. I'm surprised that you found them because I haven't really found anyone.
Oh, it's easy. Just go on any post of something that people like, say it sucks, and then they will come find you. So it was a Nightwing. It was one of the Nightwing reveals that I wrote. I made a nasty comment on there. They did not like.
I'll keep that methodology in mind.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome to the channel. So for all of the listeners out there, why don't we, we'll start off with a good question, right?
Sure.
And sorry if I have to turn away to belch. Like I broke my faux pas and I opened up a soda. So I had a question that was thrown to me today, and I figured this actually be a really cool chance to ask another creator. And that is, why do you even create? Like, I found you on YouTube. That's what you do. You, of course, express interest in creating in other media as well. But why did you even start doing YouTube, and why do you continue to do it?
It's a good question. I actually started, this has nothing to do with really YouTube, but I started really doing like graphic design and stuff like that in high school. Mm-hmm. I was also part of like the video production for like the school news type of thing, and we also had to make videos in those classes. That just kind of started my general interest in video making. Mm-hmm. And then after watching about 1,000 videos on various topics, nerdy and not nerdy, sometimes I just came to the conclusion like these people have certain opinions, but I also have my own opinion, and I kind of want to voice it. It didn't really work for me. Like I could comment, but just being able to express it in a more in-depth way, I guess, the best way to put it, and my own voice. That's really what kind of drew me to it. And that just kind of got the ball rolling. My first video, other than like my announcement video, I think, that got the ball rolling, I think was Batman vs. Superman, if I'm not wrong. That was like when I was like, okay, now's the time to do it if I'm going to do it. I have a topic that I love Batman since forever, as I told you in our Titans Talk discussion. Sorry, Titans Talk, my own thing.
I think I also call it Titans Talk, actually.
Okay, fine, that works. Okay. So in that, I think I referenced big fan of Batman since forever. And so that really got the ball rolling into, let's just start this YouTube thing, can talk about whatever nerdy, ridiculous things I want to talk about, and went from there.
Nice. So safe to say you like it because it's been a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, it's a love-hate thing. There's certain times where I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. It's just taking up too much time. And then something will happen. I'll be like, I want to talk about it so badly. And then I just rush and make a video. So.
No, I definitely feel you on that one. So I guess we'll go right into that part. So we both have been watching the Titans show. And the question I actually wanted to pose today was, as somebody who's subscribed to DC Universe, I think we've both probably passed a year, maybe a couple months ago, or maybe a month ago. I don't remember when mine is up. But a year in, do you actually like the app? Are you happy you have it? Are you going to turn it off and turn it back on when Titans is back? Like, what are you feeling so far?
You know, that's actually a great question because I asked myself that as soon as the ending of season 2 kind of happened.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that I even want to bother keeping?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a yes and no because there's a lot of great content on there, but is it enough that makes me want to go back continuously? I think you mentioned it before in one of your videos. I don't remember which one it was, where they should be uploading the new content as well. And I feel like they're not doing that at all. The like Batman versus Ninja Turtles
Yep.
and the Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go. Just like some of those newer movies.
I don't know about that.
So, I mean, it's great that they have certain content. Like the terrible movie that people don't like that I love is like Keanu Reeves' Constantine, or like Watchmen, or like different things that I can't really find in a lot of places. I can often find there just because it's a DC property. But I'm not necessarily digging through certain things. Like I don't watch Doom Patrol. I never watched Swamp Thing. Some of their newer content, I'm just kind of generally not interested in. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep it or not, but I'm still kind of on the fence.
Yeah, it that's where I definitely agree because there's so much good content on that, or there's so much good content potential, right? So yes, currently there's the archive of Justice League and the normal Teen Titans show. And it's like, all right, you have those, obviously that's your foundation. That's what you need to get people into the app. Now it's time to grow the app. And that's where they were like, oh, wait, we're supposed to add more to this? And they're like, well, to me, it seems like they sit around the boardroom and they're like, all right, what are we going to add to this app? Let's do motion comics. Yeah, let's just add comics on there. People are going to love it. And it's like, no, like, that's not why we joined this app for that. Yeah. If any of you listeners, if you actually do read your comics on that app, please tell me down below. Because I'd love to meet somebody who reads it that way, especially because they don't post the new stuff. It's always delayed by a lot.
Which you think that they have easy access to their own content, but for some reason
and
that's
you're hurting yourself because at the same time, you still need to push comic books because that's for some reason still, I don't know if it's profitable or not, but I wonder that a lot. Like, why do they still push comics? Like, why haven't they found a way to go into some other medium?
It's a good question. I don't know. It's hard to answer.
It's really weird because, I mean, kids are not reading like the way they used to. No. So now the way of, it's not the future, the way of the present, subscription-based, we want things right now, in the moment, one low price every month. So with the DC app, it's like, yeah, if you're going to keep doing comic series, I guess just go straight digital on it. But I don't think many people are buying comics like that anymore, aside from like old heads.
Yeah, and I was just thinking as you were saying that I don't know. I think they're available like on release for like the Comixology or whatever, which I think is part of Amazon, but they can't produce their own content on that same over. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I remember about 7-ish years ago, I got back into comics briefly, and I was like, oh, I'll just watch them all on my iPad, like on my commute to work, because I was commuting 2 hours each way. And looking into it, I was going to download the Marvel app because that had like just launched. And then I was looking at Comixology, and then I was like, oh, wait, like the Marvel app, it takes like 3 weeks to end up there after it releases, but it's on Comixology right away. And I can also go to the store and buy it right now. Like, why would I download your app and wait to get it? Yes, you have the backlog, but I still have to wait to get the newest thing. Yeah. And nobody wants to wait for the newest thing.
Yeah. And a lot of problems with the newest ones is oftentimes it's kind of hard with the comic books because obviously you have to create the art. You have to do the pencils, the inking, the color, everything.
Right.
that it takes so long for that process that it feels like sometimes even month to month,
Right.
they're even delayed then. Like it's never like, okay, we're going to release every month on the 1st.
Right.
Sometimes they feel like, okay, let's release it on the 5th or the 6th. Because, I don't know. I just kind of get that impression that sometimes it's just never really on time, even
Yeah.
for any publication version that they decide to do.
Yeah. No, 100%. So like, what would, for you to say, I'm going to keep this app, what would it take aside from I do videos on content that lives on that app? But
Sure.
that part aside, if you weren't doing content, what would you actually want to see on there to make you say this is worth my $7?
That's a tough one. I
It
think
is.
honestly it comes back to just uploading that new content. I mean, yes, you can have like going back to the Batman vs. Ninja Turtles or whatever. Like, yeah, you can early release them if you want to get people to pay for it, kind of not necessarily twice, but to get the people that maybe want to just watch that one movie. And so you can have it on iTunes, on Vudu, on Amazon, on whatever you want for, I don't know, $10 or whatever it is. And then maybe like as soon as physical media or maybe even like a week or two after the physical media releases, just upload it to the app. You already have people paying for it.
Yeah.
So just upload it to there.
Oh, no. And that, I feel like that's the key. It's like, if I can't watch even the crossover event, like the fact that I can't watch that on this app blows my mind.
That's a great point because the crossover, I watched Flash and Arrow when they first started.
Right.
I fell out of them at some point. I think it was right around the time I forgot the name of it. That's how much I cared about that show.
Yeah.
Not League. What's it called?
The Legends of
Legends of Tomorrow. That one. I kind of fell off on that one. That's when I was like, okay, I can't watch any of this anymore.
Yeah.
But they also had those cool crossovers. So like that was really the only selling point for me. And the fact that you have to go to the CW app where they'll upload it like day after or whatever and not have it on a streaming service that you own technically the rights to, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's all business that doesn't make sense to me, but my small brain thinks it would be easier than that.
Yeah, and it's I only the other day thought about it when I went on the Disney app and I went to, I think they put an icon for The Last Jedi, and it says coming like February 2020 due to previous contract things.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, maybe that's what's going on with these other shows is they have contracts to CW and whatnot. And they're like, well, no, you're not putting it on your app. We're keeping that on our app.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's your property, you'll make money on it, but we're the ones that grew it. Kind of like, when Netflix grew Daredevil and all of that.
Sure.
So I get that idea, but it's one of those where you should definitely try to branch something off. And even the new Stargirls show, like I was shocked that that's coming out on CW, not on the app, because that's again filler we can use in between when Titans comes back, because the only shows people are talking about now, Titans, and sometimes people talk about Doom Patrol. I feel like a lot of people forgot Young Justice even came out, so it's mainly Titans to me that's keeping that show alive based on what I of course read on social media. I don't see anybody talking about Young Justice or Swamp Thing really now that that's canceled.
Yeah, I think when they announced Young Justice and when they canceled Swamp Thing, that's the biggest news out of the DC app since we're renewing Titans or anything like that. Like that's only been the biggest news, and that's two kind of negatives. And I actually didn't even know that the Stargirl was going to be on CW until I watched your video about it. I thought it was on DC as well. It just made sense, and then they messed that up too. So
no, and even remember they announced the Green Lantern show that's going to be on HBO Max. So not even on the two apps we've been talking about. It's on a whole different one.
That's true. Yep, you're right.
Just speaking of waste, so and the apps actually. So Star Wars, right? Star Wars on the Disney app has been a big draw because Mandalorian. Now that you're caught up, Mandalorian's like the new hot thing, Baby
Yes.
Yoda and all that stuff.
Yes.
What is not the hot thing is the Rise of Skywalker. Now, I personally have claimed to the YouTube gods I would not talk about this movie unless it was something positive, aside from my review that will happen once I watch it. But since I have a guest here, I want to talk Star Wars. So, on the same token of you keeping the app because you actually want it, not because you have to have it, do you actually want to watch this new movie because you want to see Star Wars, or you just feel pot committed? I have to watch this movie for the sake of my channel, even.
I want to see it mainly because I don't know what their plan is.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like they don't have a plan,
Mm-hmm.
but part of me is because I want to know what's going to happen, or
Right.
like rather that's my main kind of selling point. I'm kind of invested in the characters. I know not a lot of people are loving this new trilogy. The Last Jedi kind of put a bruise on that, I think. But I think because they set up something in the first one, and then they gave it to Rian Johnson in the second one, and he just decided to completely flip it on its head. They took away what essentially seemed like the big bad. They completely flipped on different things, added various things here and there. That now with this third one, their plan for whatever their long-term plan was way back in Force Awakens kind of seems all gone now. So how they're going to try and salvage this end of the franchise, I have no idea. So that's part of my draw to watching this movie, other than being a Star Wars fan, is just finding out how are you going to fix this big explosion that just happened like a year or two ago.
If you can you think all the way back to the early 2000s, right? So Revenge of the Sith is coming out, third movie in the prequel trilogy. First movie comes out, we all hated it. Second movie comes out, people hated it. Now in hindsight, a lot of us like it as we got older, but at the time, it was like, we're just excited to get new Star Wars. So going into the third movie, I feel like there was excitement primarily because of the Clone Wars cartoons, the one that was drawn like Samurai Jack from that studio, because it also bridged the second movie into the third movie, which I thought was cool. But I thought that if you had just watched the movies, excitement for the third one was low because people were like, the first two sucked. But to me, Episode 3 is a top Star Wars movie, period. Empire Strikes Back is always number one. And then I sometimes have Revenge of the Sith in there. So is there a scenario where you think this movie could be so good that we forget the first two sucked and it just holds a lot of weight?
My only thing that I can hope for in that is and this could be purely hype, is that some of the, I think in like, I don't know if it's the actors necessarily or just people kind of generally talking about it, but there's been mentions of like this big sort of moment, or not necessarily a twist or per se, but something that somehow connects like everything. I don't know if you've heard that news or not, but I feel like that's one of the major draws is, and then on top of that news, there's also the other news, I don't know if these are related or not, where they're kind of saying that it's like just some big emotional thing, or like it's gonna be divisive and divide the fandom, but some people are on it, some people are not so on it. They're aware of that, but it could potentially tie everything together or something like that. So that sort of mystery, I guess, is something that's very enticing to me. Just to find out, what is this big thing? Is it really just hype, or is it actually something that they took the time, thought about, created, and developed, or is it just we tried to fix what we broke? You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I think so. I personally did not understand their concept of we're tying it all together
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, what loose end are you trying to tie together? If that was the original idea. So now, yes, now there are loose ends you have to tie together. But when you start advertising the movie as the Skywalker saga is going to end here, we're tying all the movies together. My question has been, well, what are you tying that we didn't already know? The only scenario I can think of where they can somehow reveal something that people don't necessarily know because it's, I think, legends now, is that, and I guess potential spoilers if anybody's listening to this that doesn't want anything ruined because they never had the idea in their head. In the comic books, Sidious and Plagueis, who was his master, they were like deep into like the witchcraft of the Force, right? And in doing so, the power of the dark side was so strong that they were able to cause what is that called? It was almost like there was a bounce back, and the Force, things being balanced, went so heavy to the darkness that the Force by default created a light to balance it, and that light was actually Anakin. So Anakin spawned from that offset of the Force. But the other thing too is, and I can't remember if this is also Legends or if they actually made it canon. There's the idea that Sidious actually did create Anakin. So when they were conjuring all this stuff, it turns out that it wasn't that Anakin was created to balance it off. It was Anakin was created to wipe everything. And that would then create balance. From a Sith's point of view, of course. Mm-hmm. So the only thing I can imagine them doing here is if Sidious truly isn't dead, is him just admitting like, yeah, like through, whatever Force sorcery, all of you guys are only existing because I created Anakin. And I created this whole, everything was by me. This whole 9 movies is all because of my doing. But aside from that, I can't think of a scenario where they find a way to tie things together. Because if anything, the only thing that's not tied is Anakin's dad. Nobody knows. All you know is that his mom just randomly got pregnant, like Jesus. So
midichlorians, man.
Yeah, the midichlorians. So that's where I'm like, all right. The only thing I can think of is that Sidious says I created Anakin, and people are like, oh shit, it was him the whole time. But like we already knew he was the one pulling the strings.
I don't know how they're gonna bring the whole thing together. I mean, I don't know why they're bringing back like the Palpatine or having that. If what capacity he's gonna have in the whole arc, I don't know. I don't know if it was just kind of a ploy to be like, we got to get these people back.
Yeah.
Finish this thing out. I don't know what their plan is here. And that's part of the draw of finding out, just going to see what it is. I know it's going to be probably visually very awesome. I mean, just from the trailers, you can see that.
Yes.
But story-wise, how they're going to patch it all up, I have no idea.
And, it's funny. I was watching a video the other day, and I forgot that when we all watched the Force Awakens trailer, we all thought it was going to be Finn. And we thought Finn was like whatever this chosen person is supposed to be. It turned out to be Rey, and nobody was like upset about it. To me, I was like, maybe they're both Force sensitive because he also seemed Force sensitive in that movie. They go into The Last Jedi, and it's like they forgot that they built Finn up to be something more than comic relief. So I think that's another interesting factor is what's he going to do in this movie? Are they going to try to salvage him or just, screw it? Let's just wrap up Rey and Kylo and call it a day.
I think they're kind of putting a lot of their eggs in that basket because the whole dynamic of Rey, Poe, and Finn kind of just fizzled out, and they focused so heavily on Rey and Kylo that I think that's really their main selling point. I mean, even if you look at the Force Awakens poster,
right,
compared to all the Rise of Skywalker's ones coming out right now, they're all centered around Rey versus Kylo.
right.
So whether it be their lightsaber battle or whatever sort of duel that they're going to have, there seems to be a couple of their fight scenes and whatever TV spots or trailers that there are. So they're very much building to that. How it's going to play into everything, I don't know. Because again, I think Rian Johnson threw such a curveball with The Last Jedi. They're communicating with each other, but Snoke set that up, but they're still connected. But there's so many unknowns. It's hard. How are you going to wrap all of that up?
Yeah. So I watched your review of The Last Jedi, and you actually liked it on your first viewing.
Mm-hmm.
So what has made your opinion? Because I don't think you hate it now. I think you still kind of.
I don't hate it.
So has anything drastically changed? Like, have you even rewatched it? Because, for me, like, Attack of the Clones,
mm-hmm.
I think I may have watched it twice my whole life. The second time probably because I was like watching the VHS,
mm-hmm.
but I hate that movie. So, have you been able to rewatch The Last Jedi and like, do you still enjoy it?
I find it enjoyable in certain capacities. Now, I watched it originally in theaters. I did like it. I think in that video I even said I'm not sure if I like it more than The Force Awakens. I think I still like The Force Awakens more. I'm 100% on that ship now. I like The Force Awakens way more.
Yep.
But in terms of rewatchability, I don't think The Last Jedi has that. It doesn't seem to have those certain aspects, like the whole thing on like the casino planet, which name escapes me right now. And they referenced that in something. I think it was The Mandalorian, didn't they?
I think so.
Okay, so I heard it again recently, so since I just caught up on The Mandalorian, I think they referenced it.
Mm-hmm.
But like that whole scene and everything with Benicio del Toro's character, and even Rose and Finn's kind of back and forth, I could honestly care less about. That movie. I think was like maybe like 2.5 hours. I could probably cut it down to watchability or rewatchability, maybe down to like an hour and change. So I mean, like a lot of it is a lot of filler, and how I feel like I could just skip through the rewatching it just to like my favorite parts and then just call it, oh, I watched it.
Yeah. It's have you watched the How It Should Have Ended on The Last Jedi?
I want to say yes, but it's probably been a little while.
I'm going to put it for all of you listening, it will be in the show notes. How It Should Have Ended. Sorry. How It Should Have Ended is a web series where they animate movies to put their spin on how they think the plot should have actually transpired. A lot of times they'll also point out like funny moments that if it was real life would have failed. So like the one I always think of is the Fast and Furious movies. Like Vin Diesel, like at one point in The House Should Have Ended, he yells out family, and it's the movie where they drive all the trucks and the cars out of the airplane and parachute down, but it shows like how they all would actually die if they did that.
Yeah.
But The Last Jedi, How It Should Have Ended, to me is one of the best ones, because when they actually at the end of the episode are like, this is how we would have done it, I'm like, yes, that's actually the movie you should have done. That's actually the movie you should have done.
I'll have to rewatch it again, because I think I watched it maybe like when The Last Jedi first sort of came out. Or once they first had that video release. But I don't think I've seen it since.
Yeah, so I'm just pasting it now, so it will be in the notes. But yeah, you guys should give that a channel like as well and a subscribe.
I think they also made, just randomly, completely off topic, I think they also made the battle. They make like a battle one that I really loved.
Super
Huh?
Superpower Beatdown?
Yes, that one.
The one that's live action?
I don't know if it was live action. It's one where they're like all like on a planet and like somebody's trying to find like the perfect villain and the perfect hero.
Oh, yes.
Two separate episodes.
Yes, they did that.
Okay, yeah. I was like, that's like the same style, so it's got to be the same people.
Yes.
But those are two of my favorites.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, the if you ever get a chance to check it out, Superpower Beatdown's also a good one.
Okay.
That actually has, I can't think of the actor's name right now. He plays their Bruce Wayne. But now that he's so much older, he plays a really good old man Bruce Wayne. And he plays a really good Thomas Wayne. So when they were talking about casting Batmans, I was like, for once, they should pull a YouTube star out because this dude nails it every time he does it. So give that a look as well.
Now that you mentioned, I think I have seen a couple of these, but I don't remember which ones. Yeah, because I've seen like the couple of the Wolverine ones. I've seen the Green Ranger and the Batman versus Darth Vader. So I have seen several of this series from the Superpower Beatdown. But yeah,
nice. So since I like to end things kind of like on good notes,
yes,
I figured why don't we think of the future? It's already going to be the end of the year. I've only got a handful of episodes left before we start the 2020 year. I am calling 2020 the year of the heroine superhero movie. We have Black Widow, we have Wonder Woman, and
do you want to count Birds of Prey?
That's the one I was thinking of.
Okay.
So even though she's not a hero, it is a comic book movie that is female-led. So I'm excited for these movies. I want to know, are you excited for these movies, or is your expectation so low on these movies that you can't help but be excited for them?
It's a mixed bag. Wonder Woman, I'm definitely excited for, but I love the first one. Trailer left me a little bit iffy. We had talked about it over chat, I think, a little while.
Yep.
It left me a little bit iffy, but I'm still very excited for it. I love the cast of it, the 80s vibe, totally down for that. So I'm on board with that, whether I like the trailer or not.
What was it again? Sorry, about that one that you didn't care for too much?
For Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
There were a couple different things. How they're going to play with Kristen Wiig being Cheetah. That one's kind of a weird aspect. I wasn't a big fan of the gold suit with wings at the end.
Yep.
The lasso lightning Spider-Man swing.
Apparently he has done that in the comics. I was listening to a show this week, and they said that actually has happened in the comics.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess I can't harp on it too hard if it has some kind of history, but that was just such a weird thing. I mean, if you don't know that, you're just like, if you're watching it on the big screen, assuming we never had trailers, that this was like, whatever, 1960, I don't know. They had trailers, but you would watch it in the theater and just be like, what is happening right now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I'm still excited for it. How the whole storyline is going to have Steve Trevor coming back. I don't know how he's going to do it, but have that whole thing happen. Pedro Pascal's going to be in it. Big fan of him. So there's a lot of pros, but just those little cons that, yeah, I want to nitpick at, but I'm still definitely excited for the movie.
And then Black Widow.
Black Widow, I'm cautiously optimistic. When they set up a minor character for so long, and now she's dead in the overall continuity of things, and then they flash back to something that happened between points C and D in their timeline, it just seems a little bit, I don't want to say suspect, but it's just not the way that I would handle something like that.
Yep.
I am excited about David Harbour, even though we're talking about the feminist hero.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see David Harbour's sort of Captain Russia or whatever his Red Guardian. Sorry, Red Guardian.
Yeah.
Just like that overall aspect. I kind of like that they're harping on him for like now being fat and the suit still fitting type of thing.
Is there a pun intended there when saying harping? Because isn't he Hopper?
There wasn't, but there wasn't one. But now that you mention it, sure, throw it in there. But I'm just excited for that. Some of the action looks good.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm not like super into Black Widow overall.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's best as that sort of minor character.
Mm.
If they wanted to do her sort of standalone series like this, kind of put it on the Disney Plus, kind of like whatever they're going to do with Hawkeye or whatever. But that's just, I mean, I know a lot of people wanted Black Widow. I just kind of feel like the time has passed. Now that they have killed her off in Endgame, she's already went through this big emotional arc to get to Endgame, and then she dies.
Yeah.
I feel like the story's over, or if you want to do it in a different fashion.
Yeah, that's been a very popular opinion, and I partially agree with it. The reason I say partially is I've said, I don't remember if I said this on the show or not, but one of the things I loved about the Clone Wars cartoon, not the cartoon looking one, the one that's 3D animation, is it takes place between two movies, and you know what the ultimate outcome is, but they still found a way in the plot and in the action to actually make you sit at the edge of your seat. Like, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi's fighting, you know, spoiler alert here, he fights Darth Maul. And it's like the battle is so good that you think he actually might lose. Even though in the back of your head, you know, wait, Obi-Wan Kenobi fights Vader on the Death Star. There's no way he's going to die now. But they made the action so good that you were able to suspend that, you know, belief that you know how this is going to end. And you actually just live in the moment. And Black Widow really needs to do that because we all know the outcome. But when she's flying in that scene and those guys are flying down after her and they're shooting at her, you somehow need to make us feel like there's still danger involved here, that she's not just blowing things off and she's, you know, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, no, that's a great point because I'm glad you used the Clone Wars example because my example for that would have been way worse. I was going to ask you about the Rogue One situation where you know the result, but obviously you don't know the characters. So your example is way better than mine.
We both Star Wars examples.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, there's not a lot of franchises that are doing that model either. I mean, it's kind of like Star Wars and Marvel, which is ultimately Disney, setting that trend.
Mm-hmm. Well, even you know, one of my favorite scenes in a superhero movie, as far as a fight goes, is Batman versus Bane in Dark Knight Rises, because when they're in that sewer for the first fight, and Bane is walking up the stairs, and that camera view is like over his shoulder, and you see Batman like backing up, and like he even like, I don't know if Christian Bale did it on purpose, but he even like kind of growls and like he's visibly stressed. He's stressed. He knows he's not winning, and as a viewer, you're like, oh wow, like he might go. In your head, you know Batman's not going to die in this movie. We're only an hour in, but still, the way that it's shot, and the way that the dialogue is going, and the way the battle is going, you for a second forget that he's going to live. You're like, oh, he actually might die here. And it's those little things that movie needs to really hit them, because if they don't, and it's just her jumping from car to car without a scratch on her, it's going to be like, all right, well, I know she lives anyway, so what's the point?
Yeah.
You have to kind of earn.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. How are we going to care about a character that we already know
the ultimate end
story? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh. And then lastly, Birds of Prey. Do you even care about this movie?
About 4%. 96% don't care because I got tricked with Suicide Squad. I was actually not on board with Suicide Squad for a good majority of it. And then probably about 2 weeks before, right around 2 weeks before the movie actually came out, I was like, okay, I can get on board with it. Think I might be getting a little bit more excited about it. Trailers have me more intrigued now for some whatever reason. Um, we'll go see it. So go and see it, and probably one of the worst theater experiences in my life that has nothing to do with the people in the theater, but the actual movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was just such a train wreck that I've never been more tempted to walk out of a movie. Never have I, but I was kind of tempted.
Ah.
And just them following up. Yes, Margot Robbie was the best part of that whole movie, but I have zero interest in it. I don't really care about all the other characters. My biggest interest is actually Ewan McGregor's Black Mask, which we haven't really seen as the Black Mask. I've seen recent tweets and news come out that it is comic accurate with whatever his full reveal is, which we haven't seen yet. But that, other than Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, that's really my only faith in this movie.
Yeah. No, and
it's rough, but it's a rough sort of analysis of it, but it's just my feelings on it.
No, it's you get burned enough times. Like, was it the George Bush line on that Kanye West song? He's like, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. You fool me once, can't fool me again." Like, you kind of, it's one where we gave them multiple chances. You gave them the Superman movie. It was so. Batman vs Superman trailer looks sick. We got burned on that. Justice League comes out, get burned on that. I actually like that movie, but we did get burned on it. And then now you have Suicide Squad, and then this. It's like, at a certain point, you're like, your trailers can't fool me anymore.
No. And Batman vs Superman, I actually liked. I liked it. I liked the Ultimate version more.
Same.
Even though it doesn't add like a world of difference.
Right.
Just like the little storyline with like the woman that is like being followed or whatever. Just like those little things, it adds a lot more to the movie than you actually think.
100%.
And so, and with Justice League, I was really excited about it too. I liked it also. Was it perfect? No. But it's better than if we had nothing at all, I guess. I mean, there's been a lot more wrong with it. I mean, we could go the Doom Patrol. Yes, Cyborg is over CGI.
Yeah.
But the fact that he has the option with the mother boxes to improve, and he has that more accurate suit at the end, it gave me hope, which we'll probably never get to see it again. But it's better than like the Doom Patrol, where the guy's got like the plastic glued to his face.
Yeah.
Than that Cyborg. Like, I would rather take the Justice League version than the Doom Patrol version.
Yeah, they had no business putting him in that show.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I heard that at some point they might try and switch him over to Titans because of the connection. But well, that'll be a bridge when we get there. We'll cross it when we get there. But yeah, like, Suicide Squad just disappointed me so hard. My only faith is that DC is sort of revamping certain things, like Aquaman is one of the better ones. Shazam is one of the better ones. Again, all of these are not perfect, but they're improving than what Suicide Squad was. And something that's really dumb is sometimes I think about the dumb lines in Suicide Squad, like just randomly. When Katana comes on the plane, and then Rick Flag's like, "This is Katana." For some reason, that popped into my head the other day. I don't know why. I think something about a katana popped into my head, and that was literally my thought process. It just goes, "This is Katana," whatever. So just like some of the dumbest things happened in that movie. And it was such a waste of Joker and storyline, and it was just terrible. So I don't want to get burned again.
Yeah, no. I think I was talking to you about it. I've said it before. All they had to do was copy Escape from Arkham, the animated movie. Because that movie's fantastic. Batman is a minor character in that, yet he's still important. And when you want to have Ben Affleck as a minor character but still be important, that's a great movie to copy. Enough people have not seen that movie where they can copy it and nobody would notice. And once people notice, people would be like, oh, wow, this is actually really good adaptation. Like, it's a good movie.
And I think what would make that so much better is that it's a lot more of a contained story without being, oh, there's a giant sky beam and she just happens to cut off connection.
Know how much you love
They're
those.
legitimately in Arkham, which is a contained space that you're not meant to get out of.
Yeah.
So it would have been that much easier.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And probably would have cost them a lot less money too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Without all the stupid zombie whatevers, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. But we're hitting the 45-minute mark.
All right.
We actually did pretty good today.
This time.
Yes.
As long as you're keeping track of time. If I keep track of time, I'll forget about it, and my phone screen will go black, and I'll forget where.
I'm always watching it because I feel like my computer, when things go past an hour, it freaks out. So that's actually my Christmas gift to myself. Will end up being a new computer. So we'll see how that goes. But I want to thank you, Aaron. Why don't you tell the folks where they can find you online?
Anywhere. I'm on YouTube, AaronWallerYT technically, but if you just search Aaron Waller, then it'll pop up. Same thing across Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I have a TikTok, haven't used it yet, but I don't know. I don't know if that's for me, but yeah, that's pretty much me.
And then you have so currently Aaron is wrapping up with the season, watching Watchmen. So that's going to be finished soon.
Correct.
Anything on the pipeline that we should be looking out for?
After watching Watchmen, I really don't have any more series to go on right now. I'm probably going to do some type of Star Wars thing we may revisit after Rise of Skywalker. Part of me wants to talk about Mandalorian, but I'm late to the party on that one. But that's a great thing that you're doing right now. Nothing really. I might have some holiday stuff coming up, but I really don't know anything beyond that.
Yeah. No, I know that you'll find some good content on there for sure. Because that's a good thing is as two YouTubers that are just trying to make it, we motivate each other to keep producing that content. So keep it alive.
That's a great motivator for me. I mean, you pump out some videos and I'm just like, how does he find the time?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, I don't have a kid and a wife. So the fact that you can still do all of that and work and still produce videos, I tip my hat to you. I literally, I have everything set up at my desk. So, for example, Friday mornings, I watch Mandalorian. I'm getting my coffee ready and all that stuff. I just walk into my room, hit record, and then it's off to the races from there. But no, yeah, it's one of those where we just motivate each other. And for all of you listening, if you've debated making a show, a YouTube channel, a podcast, whatever it may be, Aaron and myself are great resources to you guys. You can post comments down below. I even have a YouTube 101 video series if you want to check that out. But you just got to be consistent. And Aaron and I have both stopped making videos in the past repeatedly. And you will run into those problems for sure. But you just got to keep pumping out content.
It's definitely one of the hardships. And, you just got to find that thing that you want to talk about. And then something that's been great with collabing with you is having that feedback. So having another creator talk about the way a shot set up beyond just, the 101s or how to do whatever, how a shot set up or just various things, little things that could drastically change the way you look because you can only see your content. You're recording yourself, you're editing yourself, you're getting the comments on the topic, but sometimes never about how something's set up or the way something looks that could drastically change the overall look of the channel.
Billion percent. So I want to thank you again for being on this episode. Means a lot. You're the first guest on the HeyArcher show, the HeyArcher
That's
series.
a true honor. I'm not gonna lie, that's a true honor.
Yeah, so that's all you. Like I said, I'm a fan of yours, so you earned that. I also enjoy being on your channel as well. And for all of you listening, thanks again. This was HeyArcher episode 182. I got to come up for a cool title for this one. But I will be back on YouTube this week talking Star Wars. There'll be a couple videos on that. Aaron will also have some videos on his channel. Maybe we'll do some together talking Star Wars. Of course, there will be the movie review, hopefully after this weekend. I will give you guys the heads up. I'm going to be...
Sorry.
It's this weekend. It's already the 15th.
Oh.
And the 19th
Okay.
it comes out.
Now it's technically this week. Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah.
My days are off. Sorry. It's technically my Friday. I'm sorry.
No, I'm with you on that for sure. I will probably be off of YouTube until I watch the movie starting Wednesday. Because I follow so many Star Wars channels, somebody's going to spoil some shit that I don't want spoiled. So probably starting Wednesday, I'll probably have some videos like preloaded. They'll just go out, but I'm going to be off until I see the movie. And I think there's no Mandalorian this week, or it's delayed because they don't want people home watching The Mandalorian. They want you out to watch Star Wars. Look that up. I'm pretty sure that's true.
I didn't know that. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of sad now because I literally just binged to catch up, and now I'm really looking forward to the next episode. So
Yeah.
that's kind of sad, but okay.
Yeah, I think their own
It's
show
smart.
might.
I mean, it's smart.
I say double dip. If you truly believe in it, double dip it. But it sucks. So not a problem. Anyway, I don't want to leave on a negative note. So thank you, Aaron, for being here on episode 182. Thank you, all of you, for listening, for watching. As always, the video will be up on Wednesday, and the audio will be up ASAP. So thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks in advance for subscribing. And a new one, if you're listening on iTunes, leave a review of the podcast. Apparently, that's a thing that helps them too. So thanks for being here. Check out Aaron's channel. That will be linked in the description box below. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.